I have had body hammers that I got from Harbor Freight years ago, and you know what? They've been perfectly fine. They got the job done. I finally, yesterday, decided to go in and buy myself a replacement. And I bought this. It's time to get to the shop, guys. Guys, we all have that guilty pleasure of Harbor Freight. Let's face it, if you're doing hobby work like what I'm doing here, there's really no reason to hunt down a truck that sells specialty tools. But Harbor Freight has kind of stepped up their game a little bit. They've started making some better tools, and some of the tools like Maddox. Alright, decided to go in and buy myself a replacement. And I bought this small 7-piece set. I want to see how these compare to the old ones, and I don't have the old ones to put side by side, but I do know what they were like, and I ended up polishing and doing a whole lot of that to finish work for myself. So packaging is kind of cool. It's got a cardboard box. Looks good, but and like a lot of the Maddox tools, it comes with its own little case. And to be honest, the more of these cases I get, the more I like them. I'm really thinking about creating one wall over there with all these tools to hang on it, because the toolbox is kind of a pain, and I want to see everything visual. I want to see it out so I know it's put up. And at work, I despise toolboxes. I've been working industrial maintenance for years. I hate to have a toolbox that multiple people work out. What it ends up happening when you do something like that and you have that toolbox that everybody uses is somebody gets a tool out, they don't put it back. You don't know it's missing until you open that door and see that tool missing. If I've got it on a wall and I know exactly where everything goes, I know that tool's missing as soon as I walk in the shop, because all I gotta do is look at a quick scan every day. And I think I'm gonna start doing more of that here. Now, to see, what do these things look like? Open them up, everything's in its own plastic bag, its own container. We'll start over with that. Dollies, you can see where they've polished. You got one line right there. For the most part, feels pretty close. There's a little hump in it. Right there's a hump. Pretty big one. And the shrinking hammer, it's interesting. The square face is actually crooked. And it looks like it's definitely crooked on the head itself. Like whatever they used, they put it in the machine and cut crooked. Anyway, that's not one I'll use very much anyway. Again, finish is not great, but the metal I'm going to be using on, not going to be a problem. It's a nice rolled edge. Yeah, I mean, they're cheap tools. Again, I'm using them on hard rusted metal. The finish work, I'm not quite there for finish work, so dollies don't look bad. I've said it before too, though, the quality of the tool isn't near as important as the technique. Yeah, that one's got a pretty significant hump right there. Yeah, so these, you know, a file and somebody take a little time, these could be decent. That one's got a sharpened curve there, which may be perfect for this one when I start into it. Yeah, so that one's kind of got that, which it's supposed to have, but when you look across it though, it's crooked, it's not real round. So you get what you pay for with these tools. I mean, just to be 100% honest with you, these things, for the work that I do, these will be perfect. There's no reason to spend any more than what I spent on these. If you're in your garage and you're just kind of roughing something in, and honestly, if you really don't even know much about body work, these are fine. You're not going to destroy something because of the poor quality. Or spend the time, again, and actually make sure these are machined and flat. You take a little time with these. They're not a bad looking tool. They're a little heavier than the old ones I had. Decent balance in your hand. Doesn't feel bad. The grips, we'll see how they hold up. There you go, guys. Harbor Freight has stepped up their game on a lot of their tools. They look better. They feel better. You think they're a better tool. But in all reality, once you start looking for finish of these things, they really haven't changed much. You know, they put a name on them, a little better look, but for the most part, they're the same junk. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, if I'm going to use something 3 times in a year in my shop, well, what's the point of spending $300 or $400 when I could buy something for 30 or 40? I mean, the worst thing that could happen, you buy some tools, they're not the best quality, you learn from it, go buy better ones.